you should give me a free set of tires and I'll run your sticker on my car. It's like, okay, so your tires are $1,000 and you're saying that sticker's worth $1,000. It's maybe worth $100. So they'll give you a 10% discount and be happy you got that. They can buy a billboard that costs $2,000 a week that sees 50,000 people over the course of that week. So why would they, if you're going for just sheer sticker publicity, why would you do that?
Green flag, green flag.
Welcome to the Blind Apex Podcast, where amateur club racers tune in to get faster.
This episode is brought to you by Dishworks Fuel Systems. Use Apex 10 at checkout to save 10% on fueling your passion. If you want to help the podcast grow, share it with friends. If you want to support the podcast monetarily, go to buymeacoffee.com/the Blind Apex Podcast. Also, check out the Instagram page because the year is wrapping up and I've got some huge giveaway stuff that we're going to be teasing, so get ready for that. Joining me on this episode, someone who's driven to get people on track. He designs cars, he builds cars, he rents race cars, and he's been helping folks learn how to get partnerships. I'm going to use that word. Jett from Leadfoot Racing. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Con. It's great to be here. It's been a long time. The people listening, we were just talking about this off recording. It's been almost 120 episodes since I was last on the podcast.
Was it that many?
So I think it was.
I thought you were episode 68. It's been almost 100 episodes.
No, sorry. The one I was listening to today was 30. I was like, no, I thought it was 31 or 32. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but still, almost 100 podcasts.
Yeah, which is, it blows my mind that I made it this far. Let's be honest. But
hey, it's determination. It's a great podcast to listen to. That's for sure.
Well, I appreciate it. So, in the last 100-ish weeks, what have you been up to?
So the last time we spoke, we were on a mission to get more people involved in racing. As a lot of people who listen to this podcast, I'm sure, realize racing is expensive and kind of dying. So we were approaching it in a way of building affordable cars for people to get out and race. We did that. We built some cars. We had a really good platform. Didn't quite meet our mark. So we're like, okay, what do we need to do? Well, the car was still too expensive. Mm-hmm. So we pivoted and we're like, okay, let's, instead of somebody buying a $10,000 to $20,000 car, then they need a truck and a trailer, be able to work on the car, those types of things. We're like, what if we can just give them the opportunity to race? So that turned into a premium arrive and drive race car rental service. So we predominantly focus on SCCA and NASA with a couple local tracks or local series here in Colorado and surrounding states. But we focus on the Spec 7 platform, which is an RX-7, and then the Spec Miata platforms as well. And so we said, okay, it's from a financial point of view, it's a lot cheaper for people to try racing because if you have a $10,000 car, $5,000 truck, $2,000 trailer, that's almost $20,000 by the time you have consumables and lodging just to see if you like it.
Yeah, and let's not talk about the quality of your $5,000 pickup truck.
Oh, no, that's the thing. You can get it for that, but is it really? How many races are you going to miss?
You'll be working on that truck more than you work on your race car, and that's something to be said. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we made a pivot. We are now doing arrive and drive race car rental services. That's our kind of our more forward-facing business model for when we're out at the track. We do everything from driver coaching to cooking people food, maintenance, delivery. Basically, if someone wants to go racing, they show up at the track on the date and time that we tell them, and we have everything they need. But following on to kind of the same thought process that arrive and drive service came from, we have been pivoting into teaching people how to get sponsored and find partners to work with. And like you said, we're going to use the word partner a lot. Sometimes it's considered a dirty word. I think of sponsorship as like a donation.
Okay.
A lot of businesses think that way too.
So let's. I have that on my list of things to talk about. Let's hash out. Let's define sponsorship versus partnership.
So they're both the same and different at the exact same time. It's kind of like a Schrodinger's cat. Do you have a sponsorship or do you have a partnership? Well, you don't know until you open the box. And the way that I see it is a partnership is meaning you want to work with the company. You want to work with the individuals that run the company, that run the marketing department. You want to be part of their team. Mm-hmm. So you want to be a partnership. You're not an employee or anything like that, but they've hired you to be a marketer. It's plain and simple. This isn't, hey, you really like the color of my car and all of this stuff, so I'm going to put your sticker on and you're going to pay me. That's not how this works. You're going to work with them. They're hiring you as a marketer. When I think of the word sponsorship and the way that it's used a lot, it comes off to a lot of people who put it out there just might not know. But a lot of the businesses see it as a donation. Oh, you want me to sponsor your race car? You want me to sponsor you with a set of tires? Well, I'm never going to see a return on that. I'm going to get a sticker on the side of your car, and it's going to cost me $1,000 for tires. So sponsorship, we try to shy away from that a little bit because in our eyes, you're asking for a donation. Whereas partnership, you really have to put it out there that you're wanting to work with this company. But ultimately, it comes down to what language you and the company want to use, as long as they're getting what they want and what you're promising. So if a company's fine calling it a sponsorship, that's okay too. But just from a simplistic view, I see sponsorships as you're asking for a donation. I see partnerships as we're in this for the long haul. Let's work together. Okay.
And what do you see as I'm going to personally say I would not wrap my car with a sponsorship without like a big agreement, right? But a partnership would be different, right? I think the duration, the quality of the relationship, they're different. You know, one is the sponsorship is more temporary without a bunch of definitions and things written out and signed in blood, right? But the partnership is more of a long-term goal, right? Or to see how long this type of relationship in racing can last, right? That's sort of how I see it. Okay. So, I do a little bit of guerrilla marketing with the podcast on social media, and we were talking about this a little bit, and I kind of want to make sure that we cover it, right? But I do a little commenting on other people's posts just to get me some exposure here and there in different audiences. But I ran across a slew of people with these buy this product, sign up for my monthly service, whatever, and we will get you sponsors. How is what Leadfoot's doing different?
So it's kind of, to use a really simplified term, it's like a clickbait. You see them all over the place. You want to grow your Instagram account? I'll get you 1 million views in 90 days or your money back. And all these little things, and that might be true, but it's also one of those, how far into the terms and conditions, like if you ate a ham sandwich on Thursday, the day you bought it, it's like that voids your guarantee, so they don't have to give your money back. There's all these little caveats that they do. What we do is we try to teach people how to find their own sponsors, how to find their own sponsors, how to find their own partners, how to garner a good relationship and prove that what they're delivering to their partner in a marketing sense is a good return on their investment. That's the biggest thing. And so I would love to sit here and say, well, you can get a sponsor in 30 days because our current flagship product that most people purchase is a 30-day launch kit. It gives people everything they need to start finding partners, start approaching partners with templates, how to respond to certain emails, how to deal with rebuttals of, oh, well, you're not exactly what we're looking for, those types of things. But there's no way for me to sit here and say, you can't, like, we will get you X amount of sponsors, or we will get you your first sponsor. These are the tools that all we can say is these are the tools that we use, and we typically can get a partnership in 30 days. Now, depending on the person, depending on the team, depending on the car, that's all completely different, because even if you follow our steps, it doesn't account for you going in and demanding the local discount tire to give you free tires because you've done these steps.
Yeah, so instead of it being more clickbait, click here, buy this, get sponsors because you buy this. This is more of the education, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is more of the background of these are the things you need to do. It is.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We focus more on the long haul type thing. You're not going to land a partnership with Lay's potato chips in 30 days, and that's going to set you up for the rest of your career. It just doesn't happen. And maybe it does if your grandfather was friends with the guy who's founded Lay's potato chips and there's a family connection there. It might happen. But so that's what a lot of people put out there is do this and then you're set up for your whole career. And that just doesn't happen. You might have sponsorships and partnerships that take years just to get any monetary value out of it. But there's not to say that doesn't turn into something huge that you can quit your job and make racing your full-time career. So we try to set people up with you'll get really good traction, you'll get really good steps moving forward, and it's all a learning experience. You have to collect a lot of no's before you can get yeses.
Yes, you better get used to no. And some polite no's and some rude no's and everything in between, right? Like, and don't take it personally. And so just so everybody knows, if you listen to the podcast before this, which, Jett hasn't yet because it's not out and I didn't send it to him and I probably should have, but, I was talking to Josh with KDM Tuners and he said, you need to be marketable. I think this will help you become more marketable, but also how you should market yourself, right? And then also he was like, the bad news story is you don't get a pro seat unless you bring money to the table. And this is how you bring the money to the table, is with these partnerships, these long-term relationships that you can use from, your amateur days from karting into road racing and then try to get a seat somewhere. So,
yeah, you never know, no matter how small your partner is that you're working with, you never know who they know, what they're going to do, how much they like you. Because people who were sponsored by Koenig Wheels 10 years ago may have never thought they'd become as big and popular as they are now. And every door that you open, every person you talk to, and every connection you make, that could be 5-10 years down the road your big break because you met someone who believes in you. And you hit the nail on the head. It's marketability. These companies care about their return on their investment, and if they can't market you, that's like trying to sell a product that they're paying for but no one will buy.
Yeah. So let's do a high level overview of what your package it contains.
Yeah. So it contains two main aspects, kind of two products in the package. It's our 30-day accelerator, and then it's our ebook. So with everyone that's on the team, we have over 40 years experience working with sponsors, partners in the Formula world, in the stock car world, in NASCAR, in road racing, dirt bikes, kind of you name it. We have someone who's worked in that industry. We've boiled down all of this information into about a 150-page book that comes in the package. That's the main bulk of everything. It tells you how to respond to people, what they're most likely going to say, how long it takes you to usually get a response, because we always tell people, and it's hard for someone to wrap their mind around it until they do it. I've talked to 20 or 30 businesses and they've all told me no. Yeah, that's just a start. Your good odds is if you can get 2 or 3 out of 100 to say yes to something. And so it gets really, really discouraging. So the book works through how to push through that. It does have some tactics to be like, to not get down on yourself, because that you can't let the negativity creep in. You're going to get a lot of no's, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so that's the main aspect of the bulk of the information. Then we lay out, okay, you're starting from nothing. You're a person who is wanting to get into racing, whether you have a car or you don't have a car. And the 30-day accelerator puts it out into easy, manageable chunks over a course of 30 days that says, these are the things you need. This is how you need to do it. This is what you have to do every day. So day 1, it might say, create an Instagram account. Day 5 might say, start posting content. This is the content strategy. Day 10 might be, okay, you've created a list of 100 businesses in your local town that you think would be a good fit for you. Now let's start talking to them. So you need to talk to 5 a day. And it gives you these bite-sized chunks, so that way every day you're making progress. And it might feel like it's not much progress, but at the end of the 30 days, you suddenly have traction. You're on social medias, because businesses, as much as I hate social media, businesses love social media these days. But you're doing it in a meaningful way. You have templates that come with each step of the ebook, with each step of the accelerator, that says you're reaching out via email, and these are the contexts of what you're reaching out to. Here's some examples of how you can reach out, because cold emails work, but they don't work super well. So we try to make sure we not only give you some examples to work with that technically, yes, you can copy and paste them. We don't advise that. But to say, this is what has worked for us. These are examples that we have personally used in order to get partners. And this is how the encounter went. We'll show them the whole email chain from reach out to landing the partnership. And so it's getting people into the mindset of doing little things every day. It's just like your guerrilla marketing tactic that you said, how every day you spend 30 minutes on average over the course of the whole day messaging and commenting on social media posts. That's actually one of the really simple ways for people to gain a lot of traction. You need to have a handful of true fans that really want to kind of see you succeed. And so we try our best to make it not intimidating, but also make it to where it's like, okay, the 30 days is up. You didn't land your Frito-Lay's sponsorship or partnership. And it's like, you don't give up here. You keep going. And that's where the ebook will really take over and say, okay, now let's really dig in and continue honing your skills of what you've done. You've gone so far, because I believe at the end of the 30 days, you've already reached out and talked to 100 different businesses. You have lists. You've learned how to do research on these businesses. You've learned how to do research on what you can offer these businesses, who your market is, so that way you know what type of businesses you're looking for. Because depending on your part of the country or your knowledge or what car you drive, you might be able to tailor yourself to, instead of an AutoZone or an O'Reilly's where everyone usually goes, you might be able to go contact a local salon that's big in the state that you live in. and your racing series might travel throughout the state, and they say, yeah, this would be something really cool. You might fit their image, or you've used them in the past, but it teaches you how to put together true value to show these businesses, and then also kind of become yourself, because they don't want just a marketing company if they're going to work with you. The reason that they're working with you is because you're unique and you offer a unique angle.
Yeah, the story you bring, the story you tell is important, and being marketable helps with all of that, right? Okay, before I go down that rabbit hole, it's already 2 books. Okay, well, it looks like 2 books on here. You have the Ultimate Sponsorship Blueprint, and then you have the Accelerator Volume 1. Okay.
Yep.
So you have an epiphany in Volume 2 comes out. If I have access to the ebook, do I get Volume 2?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, you
All
do.
right.
Yep.
So it's
and we have that set up because, exactly. And we did that because we talked before the podcast started. It's the environment's constantly changing. It depends on the way the wind is blowing, and again, what you had for breakfast, what partners and businesses are looking for, and it's being able to strike at the right time. So information is constantly changing. So we don't want to limit people to this is what works now, and 5 years from now, we don't want you to have to try to extrapolate that out. Yes, the fundamentals will still work, but like I said, we want to build this so that way you can hopefully make a career one day out of racing, or out of being in motorsports, or running a podcast, or being an influencer on Instagram, whatever someone who's looking for partnerships and sponsorships is. We want to make sure you know, like, we're here for you.
There's no money in podcasting. Don't do it, folks. It's actually a ton.
Dang,
it's a ton of fun.
I was just getting all my podcasting stuff.
Yeah, well, it's an additional avenue, right? So for me, in my package, I generally include the podcast, right? Some sort of angle with the podcast. Yep. It's just another avenue. I get it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't necessarily want to tie my race program to it, but at the same time, it really is a benefit. So I'm not saying don't do it, but it's just a different way to be out there, right? It's part of the uniqueness that is my story, right? And one reason I wanted to retouch on this is because it was episode 13 that I talked to James at IPG, who still supports my race program, right? And about this, and it was his opinion back then. Has some of his opinions changed? Probably. But I wanted to get a different opinion, right? Every company's got a little different look on things, a little different need. And so to hear from you, to hear from somebody new, somebody fresh on this topic this far apart, especially in the climate that we're in, I think is really important to get that out there, right? We need to hear different perspectives, maybe use a little different language because it might resonate with different people. So, so here's my question for you. What does it mean to be marketable?
Sorry, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, that's fine.
What it means to be marketable is the easiest and simplest way that people are going to understand is you're looking for some type of relationship with a business, whether we're going to call it a friendship. If you have a friend that you will only take to certain occasions or around certain people, how marketable is that friendship? And you want the friendship that this person is going to be there for you when you're doing great. You can call them when times are tough. You can bring them around your family. You can take them to a wedding. You can do all these things. Basically, you want the perfect friendship. And that's the easiest way to think about marketability. So when a business is looking for a new friend, you don't want to be this guy that gets drunk and pees himself at weddings. So
Right.
I've met a few of those, but not necessarily proud of that, but I've met a few of them. But
They make
you don't wanna
interesting
be-
stories, but you don't really hang around them for the next story.
Oh yeah, and some people get mad when you have extreme examples of somebody loses their cool and they start getting dropped by the brands that they're partnered with, but that brand is affected by what their friends do. So if a brand picks to work with you and then you're at the track talking crap to other drivers, suddenly they're like, oh, well, what type of brand will work with this person? Oh, maybe I shouldn't eat Frito-Lay's chips. Maybe I should go buy the Members Mark ones instead because they support this type of person. And to a certain point, sometimes brand image is important to a brand. So there's a certain caliber, but that usually comes from if we want, we'll say, a certain level of not professionalism, but uniqueness. So that comes into, okay, maybe you have an oil manufacturer that says, we do Euro cars. So yes, your car runs our oil, but we would prefer Lamborghinis or BMWs or whatever. And you have, for us, example, like we have Mazdas. Mm-hmm. We're partnered with Liqui Moly, and they're a great brand. They work with us. They're amazing to work with. But we know it'll probably never be a huge thing because they're a Euro brand. So we know that there's an end to this runway, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop working on it. That doesn't mean we're not going to still be marketable to them and still push their products and push the relationship and give them updates. But the easiest way that I can explain marketability is you want to be the best friend that you can to a brand.
Okay. So what do you think about attending things like SEMA and PRI, events like that, or larger events that have vendors and shaking hands and establishing yourself that way?
It's a double-edged sword. That's the downfall about them because, yes, you have a huge, we'll use PR. Mm-hmm. You have a huge concentration of brands that are race-specific that you want to be sponsored by, you want to get a relationship with. If that does happen, by the time you go to PRI, and this is something that we tell a lot of people, but they don't understand, or it's not widely talked about. Not that they don't understand it. Most brands, when they're looking for their partnerships, most partnerships acquisition happens, about 50% of it happens in the last quarter of every year, and about 25% of it happens in the first quarter of the next year. So September till the end of the year is when 50% of brand deals happen. Roughly a quarter of everything happens in the first quarter, and then the other quarter happens across the rest of the year. But that doesn't mean you're not supposed to work with them. So when you get to a PRI, which usually comes in November, December timeframe,
early December,
these brands have already set up their partnerships for the next year, and it's not anything against you because PRI happens once a year. You can't go to different ones across the country throughout the year, but you have to know that there is a good chance that you are not going to land anything when you go to PRI. We're big proponents of you don't walk into PRI and take your proposal and you walk up to all these brands and say, I'm Jett Johnson and I'm this racer and you should work with me and this is my story, because how many people have done that before you and how many people are going to do that after you on that day? Yes, you do have to make it a presence. Yes, it is good to get to know people, but go to PRI to network. Don't take a proposal. Don't take anything. Take some business cards, maybe some stickers, and then try to make a genuine connection. It goes back to the best friend thing. You don't walk into a bar and look at someone at the bar and say, you're going to be my best friend, and then get mad when they're like, I have no idea who you are, leave me alone. Because that'd be unheard of. So go in there with the hope that maybe the season after the one that's just starting. So we're in 2025 right now. It's Halloween, actually, on the day we're recording. Happy Halloween! We didn't say that at the beginning. But go into this, like if you were to go to PRI this year, go into it with the hope of getting something for season 2027.
Right.
And know that 2026 is probably not going to happen. You might get a couple little things here and there, but I've talked to countless people that have done the approach of, I'm going to go find sponsors or I'm going to go find partners at PRI. And they're like, I kind of just look like an idiot. And it's like, yeah, these people get approached all day long. They know who they're looking for. They might have already signed up and they have nothing to work with. And that's one of the things that we touch on in the Ultimate Sponsorship Blueprint is you can track what initiatives brands are doing throughout the year based on what they've done previously. And then you can also tailor that to say, hey, they did something in the first quarter of the year, so I'm going to kind of do a little bit of research and I'm going to start pitching or getting an idea because maybe they don't partner with me now, but I can come in and say, hey, I'll help you with this initiative if you're doing it again. I thought it was really cool last year when you did that because seasons change, and so they can't run their summer ads like in the winter. So that's one of the biggest things. But PRI and SEMAs are really good for networking and getting to know people if you go to make a genuine connection.
Yeah, it's definite. There will be plenty of people who take their packages with them. They'll likely not be tailored to whoever they're talking to, just a generic package. Those tend not to, in my opinion, won't get a lot of traction, especially at those types of events where there's like thousands of people that are going to do the same thing. This is part of being marketable, but also you have to set yourself apart. And if everybody else is dropping a generic package, even if they drop a tailored package, because you know what's going to be at PRI, right? So you could get your packages and drop them. They're going to have a fistful of them, and you're only fighting, as you said, and Josh even said it on the prior podcast, about 25% of the pie overall. And that's if they actually have anything left, right? Think about the economy that you're living through. They are too, right? So, the other big thing that go ahead.
Sorry, I wanted to add one more thing to that. One of the things that is something that we've been trying to also educate people on is, okay, you have a brand that sells racing products and you think that they want to be on every race car so people know about their products, so people buy their products. But you think that they should sponsor you because you're the greatest racer. If they're selling race car products, and their business model is selling race car products, why would they keep discounting their race car products to racers? They're not trying to discount it to you guys so you can market it to single moms in Ohio or the high school males in California. They're selling race car products. So unfortunately, yes, you're a good target market to advertise for them, but you're also the target market that they want to sell to. So it kind of gets to the point of they want to partner with you, but they also don't want to partner with you. So that's one thing that people also have to realize. Hoosier Tire doesn't want to sponsor everyone with a 10% discount unless you're racing in their league that they're already sponsored with, because we're going to get your name out there and we're going to tell other racers. Most other racers already know about it, and you're the person who's buying their products. So that's another thing that people need to also realize, especially with shows like PRI.
Yeah, for sure. And really, if you're going after a tire manufacturer, especially if they already have race contingency, because either the class is required to run that tire or whatever, it's hard. It's slim. You're going to have to know somebody, in my opinion. You'll have to know somebody. So the setting yourself apart becomes a challenge, right? And then timing is a challenge. And you need to build all of this stuff up. and you need to be unique. But you also brought up the fact about the return on investment. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. It'll be a hard question to answer because every company is a little different. But can you give us some examples on how people can ensure that they are valuable or giving that return on investment that the companies are seeking?
A really, really simplified way to think about this is be the person that brands want to work with from any standpoint. Oh, hold on. Okay, am I still there? Can you see me?
You're still here.
Okay, sorry. All my screens went black for a second. And I'm like, did I just lose internet? And that's all back now. But you want to be the person that they want to work with because you're professional, you're kind, you're whatever angle it is. But you also want to make sure that you're working towards giving them something that they want. Because one of the biggest things that when we do proposal reviews, we build proposals for our clients. It's another one of those kind of services that we do because some people just don't have time, and we can give them the base knowledge and then build their first one for them. Then they can run off with it. But one of the biggest things that people always say is, I'm going to be at this series and it's televised. I actually had a meeting about a week ago with a guy. He was, we won't name him, but he's going into SCCA's, he's going to go for the runoffs next year. And he said he was partnered with a couple brands and they didn't want to support him moving forward when he came kind of past a product ask and into a monetary ask for their partnership. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, he told me initially, he's like, well, our series is televised. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so what's your selling point? It's like, how many people are at your events? Well, we have 1,500 people roughly at each event we go to. And then the runoffs is 3,000. And then the runoffs is televised. And I'm like, well, that's not what you initially told me. It's like, you said that it was all televised, but now it's only that one event's televised.
Right.
And it's like, okay, where is it televised? Well, it's here, and it's mainly on YouTube. And it's like, okay, well, how good is that? It's like, I get why they don't want to do it. So you have to be able to sell something to them. So he's banking on, well, if I put their sticker on my car and I'm shown on TV or YouTube or in the interviews or wherever, they're going to be running it for 2 full days as a live stream, but realistically, he's going to be on TV. If he wins, he's going to be realistically on there for, let's say, 30 minutes. So then how many views does let's use the YouTube one. How many views do the videos get after the fact? 2 to 5,000, depending on the race.
Okay. Then
it's okay. How many people watch the live stream? Couple thousand over the course of the whole live stream. And it's okay. So you're asking for $10,000 and you're saying, I'm going to put your sticker on my car. And the best I can do is 30 minutes in front of no more than 10,000 people.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I get why they don't want to pay $1 per view. And the big example that I always tell people, and especially with stickers on cars, a sticker on your car is worth max 1/10 of what you think it is. So if someone says, I'm competing in the SCCA or NASA or Grid Life or something like that, and even if you're a winner, I'm going to be at 6 events throughout the year, you should give me a free set of tires and I'll run your sticker on my car. It's like, okay, so your tires are $1,000 and you're saying that sticker's worth $1,000. It's maybe worth $100. So they'll give you a 10% discount and be happy you got that. They can buy a billboard that costs $2,000 a week that sees 50,000 people over the course of that week. So why would they, if you're going for just sheer sticker publicity, why would you do that? So then that gets into, you have to be able to know what they want in order to provide that ROI. And that's where knowing their initiatives, knowing the market, if you can provide a unique angle, and being that person that they want to work with. Because a lot of these brands, they have a large cachet of people that they could work with. Just like we talked about, you go to PRI, and if we have, let's use Liqui Moly again as an example, or let's use Valvoline. Valvoline's at PRI. How many proposals do you think they're going to get handed to them? How many jump drives with proposals do you think they're going to get? How many people say, I'll email it to you? They're probably going to leave with several hundred to several thousand. So that's just from the people who show up to PRI. How about the ones they get endlessly emailed to them? So why should they work with you? Give them a reason to. I hope that answered your question. It's like you said, it is a hard question to answer.
It's hard because every company has a different need, and that need is a moving target. So a proposal, let's say randomly, I'll pick somebody out of the blue. Gear wrench. Okay. I've seen gear wrench on a car before. I've seen it in the NASCAR feeder series, and I've seen it, I think, on a SCCA car. Okay.
I think they've done a drift car too.
Okay. Their desire, you could put in a proposal and get denied. Forget denied. They won't even answer you. Okay. Let's put it, I'm not saying they won't, but let's say it's...
They probably won't even open the email.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if they have a, sponsorship at gearwrench.com or whatever. I don't know if that exists, but if there was, I would hate to be the guy that has to cruise that email box, right? Any of these companies.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't mean it doesn't work later on. That same proposal, change some dates, change some figures and some numbers, update whatever you need to do. It may be in their wheelhouse this time, right? You don't know.
Yep.
And my recommendation for folks is when you make your list of targets, and you said 100. I don't think I could come up with 100. I don't want to work with 100, but that's the thing. It's like, you're not going to work with 100. We hope that you can get like a really good outcome is 2 to 3 that say yes out of the 100. Right.
And that is a great outcome.
Yes, that's a great outcome. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't even think I could come up with 100 where I could, pitch it reliably and actually not blow smoke the whole time. Right. Like, I think that's a challenge in and of itself. Okay. Yes. It was easier for me to come up with the first 100 episode ideas for this podcast, 104 episode ideas for this podcast, than it would be for me to figure. I would be on Google. I would be searching the ends of the internet to find companies, right? I just don't see it. I think that's tough. And if that's something in your book, man, maybe I need to buy it in a challenge. But to me, the relationship has to come first before the asking, right? Especially when you were talking about local businesses, right? There's a local business. I go to his restaurant every time I travel to go to the track. We load up on barbecue, essentially. He sells craft beers. I buy my beers and I buy barbecue to feed myself, right? For lunches and things before we take off. I love that guy. I love Matt. He's a good dude. But I can't even pitch to him that I would be useful to him, right? Like, I can't say, hey, Matt, we should work together. I'll put your logo on my car and yada yada. Why? Because he's closed on Sundays. He has limited hours. He's a really small restaurant, not near he's close to a racetrack, but not close enough, It would be a lot for people to go out of their way to come to his restaurant, right? So it would be hard. You have to go through this. And then once you identify it, like you said, you need to go through and go, hey, what are they really looking for? What are they doing? What did they do a year ago? What did they do the year before? Are they doing the same thing? Can I help them in the same way? Did they drop somebody? Did they pick somebody up? Like, you have to do your homework. This is not a handout, You're not the panhandler at the intersection. If you are, you're not going to get, they're not rolling their window down for you, So, but I truly, I want to go to PRI. We'll see. I work for the government and the government's shut down. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. Right.
Oh, I understand that. My day job I work in the DoD department, so I understand.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I don't want to commit if I don't know I'm not getting paid, right? And things like that. But whatever, like, the idea of PRI to me is meet the people, shake the hands. As far as I'm concerned, like, I'm going to do up a shirt that has the podcast logo on it and things like that, right? And then if I run in to somebody who's like, hey, I listen to the podcast and they're wearing a Motul shirt, I'm like, heck yeah, let me shake your hand. Here's my business card, right? Like, if you listen to the podcast and it's something like that I use, then maybe that's a small foot in the door. At least that person might answer or read my email, right? You get one person on your side, and then it may still take a couple of years, right? Like, before they're like, yeah, we went in on this. We've decided. Companies are not as efficient as some people think they are. Sometimes it takes an act of Congress, which we know is terrible right now, to
what are you talking about? The shutdown's a perfect example of that.
Right. Like, they know they need to operate, right? And they know they want a minimum amount of marketing, yet they're sitting on some marketing funds because, half the group wants to go and do this guerrilla marketing campaign through whatever, racers or whatever it is, right? And then the other half is like, yeah, rainy day fund. We don't need to market as much. We have consistent sales year after year, and we're going to put that money for the rainy day because the economy sucks, right? So it could take them a couple of years to make a decision. And they're still sitting on funds, So you don't know what's going on behind their doors. You just need to make yourself available and be somebody worth talking to, be somebody worth reading their email when you email somebody. I'll tell you this story. I get emails and stuff from people trying to sponsor the podcast. Okay. I'm getting emails from people who have never listened to the podcast. Never. They want to come on the podcast and share their product because they think that my audience will want to hear about their new cookbook. A cookbook. Seriously. I did one episode on food and eating at the track and its importance and all that stuff, right? But a cookbook, and they have nothing to do with, it's not like grilling at the track or whatever. It's nothing like that. It's like the new keto 2.0 or whatever ridiculous thing. And I'm like, I read it because I have a compulsion, but I don't respond. And this person emails me once a week. That's how dedicated they're dedicated enough to email me once a week, but not dedicated enough to go, do I really match up with this person? Do I really know what's going on? It's like they can't rub two brain cells together to read the podcast name and, what they do. Right.
Yep.
And it's just like,
they're just, it's that what you experience is what a lot of big brands experience too. It's like you have companies that want to sponsor the podcast and come on and push their product because all they did was Google podcasts. Yours made it onto a list that they found. They stuck it in their automated system to send you an email once a week. But like you said, their product might be great for racers, but they've never listened. They don't have an angle, and there's no benefit to you besides cannibalizing your market
Right.
and your audience. So then you're not marketable to actual racing brands.
Yeah, they're literally all the stuff I'm getting. Nobody is. I mean, men's enhancement pills. Nah, I'm good. Like, yes, most of my audience is male.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
It's not important, right? And apparently, I missed that gravy train in podcasting anyway. So, apparently, they were handing out thousands and thousands of dollars for almost nothing. But so beware when you take those things.
Oh yeah, and that's where everyone's at too. You always missed the better option,
Well, yeah,
or at least
yes, you missed it, okay? But there's another one coming, right? That's why you can't get discouraged. You missed the best one.
Yep.
But is there still a good one? And I'll be honest, I like working with small companies. Mostly because they're the requirements. This is another thing people don't understand. You don't put your hand out and get anything for nothing in return, right?
Yep.
Most of them, not all of them, I will say not all of them, have a written contract of requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you get, the more work you have to do. This is not free.
Oh yeah.
It's not free.
No.
So,
No, what a lot of brands, what people can kind of keep in the back of their mind is whatever you're asking for, they want to see a 5 to 10x return just off the top. Like that's just a good rule of thumb. So if you're going to a brand and saying, you give me $10,000, you better have a good plan that works with what you can do and aligns with them to bring in 100,000 or more.
okay. That's a good number. I've never heard that, but it's definitely a good way to think, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's an actual like real world example. I've mentioned Liqui Moly a couple times. They supply all the fluids all the fluids besides our racing coolant because they don't currently make one. All the fluids for our race cars, the oils, gear oils. We're looking to switch to their brake fluid because they just came out with a new one, which is really, really cool. But when I talk to them, they're like, yep, we'll partner with you, but we want you to become a dealer and we want you to just start pushing product. And it's like, cool, no problem. They don't have super high expectations because we're pretty small and they don't supply a ton of stuff to us. So they're like, okay, your return isn't anything crazy. But their pro racing team, I believe it's Turner Motorsports, that has a pro race team that travels around the world. Their contract, they are expected to sell X amount of millions of dollars worth of Liqui Moly products in order just to to not be in breach of their contract with their sponsorship. And that's what people don't understand. They pay these people to be on their car and they're getting paid by Liqui Moly. It's like, yeah, but they're also forced to, like, you have to have these types of returns. You have to do these things for them, and it's the trade-off. And so, kind of to your point, you like working with smaller brands. They are more agile. You get a more personal relationship, and smaller brands and smaller businesses makes it more approachable for people to get into partnerships because you have a face, you have a person that you're working with. We work with Les Schwab, and I drive down to the store who heads our partnership with them, and I talk to Chris. He's sitting behind the desk. I walk in and he's there. And I'm like, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? You guys are wanting to do this initiative. What if we did X, Y, and Z for you? And he says, okay, cool. I'll call Jason. Jason works literally above him in the building. So it's like, okay, it makes it really easy because we can be agile and we can move around and do kind of free reign with what we want. But it's crazy out there.
Yeah, and the competition is fierce. So always remember that. And you didn't get in this game to make money.
No.
What you're doing is trying to augment it. And I can be very appreciative of the partners I've had because my new car would be not where it is without the partners and the friendships that I've made, right? The opportunities that I've gotten because of them. Okay.
Yep.
But it all takes work. All of it. Every level takes work. Some people are less needy than others, but it's always there. And you have to, don't bite off more than you can chew. Like, you don't want to get into an agreement where your car's got to be at SEMA and you're missing a race that you said you were going to be at, right? Like, these things have to be identified early on if paperwork is involved, right? They go, oh, you have to, we're going to make 8 races. Okay. Well, then they were like, yeah, but we need you at SEMA. And you're like, okay, great. And you sign on the dotted line, except for one of those 8 races was on, the timing of SEMA, right? You can't breach your contract. You're going to have to figure something out, right?
Yep.
So you need to be aware. Personally, I don't know when you're getting in it deep, and I'm not in it deep. Okay. You might want a lawyer to look at it too. So you can add that to your own personal costs. Just so you can understand the feasibility and the strings and the loopholes and things. So, so one last question or couple maybe, but with the folks that you've worked with, what do you see most people missing or having issues with?
The biggest thing that I would say most people have issues with is either overvaluing what they offer, or like we talked about before, not doing enough legwork beforehand. Because just because you're a racer, just because if we have someone who's racing in Grid Life, they're going to be at every race. They're in the SR Rush or the Rush SR series, right? And there is a brand that has an ad out that says looking for SR Rush racers for sponsors to sponsor for the season in the Grid Life series. You still might not meet what they're looking for. You need to do your homework, and you are going to be up against theoretically anyone who is in that series that sees that ad. And they might have 1 spot, they might have 10 spots, we don't know, but you still need to do your legwork and say, you did this initiative, I can help with that, or your audience is this, and it looks like you're pushing to get into this audience, and this is how I can help. This is you want them to know that you put in work, because it's just like a friendship. If you buy a gift, if your friend buys you a gift for your birthday, and maybe it's your type of friendship, but they just picked it up at the gas station, and they're like, "Here you go." It's like, okay. It's like, did I really want this keychain? It's like, you didn't put any effort into this. Right. It's like, you're not putting effort into our friendship. And it's the same thing with the brand. They're not here to spoon feed you. You're here to spoon feed them in a really simplified way of thinking. It's like, make it a slam dunk for them to work with you. So it's doing the legwork, and then don't overvalue what you have. Now, don't undervalue what you have either. So you don't want to sell every square inch of your car for a cent. And then let's say there's 3,000 square feet or square inches on your car, And then it's suddenly, oh, you got $30. And it's like, but you're sponsored. It's like, you don't want to do that either.
Right.
Because then you're just cheap. So that is one of the things, like, I don't mean to sound like I'm plugging the book, but that is one thing that we talk about is teach you how to value yourself, because some things that you see aren't valuable, as valuable as you might think. And then some of the things you're avoiding are more valuable than you think.
Absolutely. AI tells me that my podcast is worth $100 an episode because of...
Nice.
Okay. That is not true. It's like you said that it's a tenth of it, right? Like that's probably closer, So it's just how it is, right? The podcast world is very different than other media worlds, and race car sponsorship is very different than other types of partnerships that are out there, right? The YouTubers have it easier, right? The YouTubers will get partners easier. Their exposure levels are easier, right? You were talking about the live streams and the NASA, the SCCA, and in Grid Life. Grid Life gets almost 3 times as many views as NASA and SCCA. So it's different, right? The exposure level is completely different, and so you need to take the holistic approach is to look at all of it. And I'm sure that I haven't looked at it. I need to buy it because I need to look at stuff for the podcast and for my personal race car program. But I want to see what's in it because, I mean, talking to you and knowing what you do, it has to be a decent product. So what kind of success stories can you share, say, without naming names? But
it varies widely, but some of the things that we've seen are one of the ones that we're really proud of is a company that is owned by McCormick Foods. We've had a single car grassroots racer, and they're still in negotiations right now, so this could change, are with one of the subsidiary brands that McCormick Foods owns. The brand is worth about $6 billion, and they are negotiating a $400,000 contract for a car that races in a regional SCCA race.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So... And this is something they've done it for years and years and years, but they made the right connection. They made the right offer. They had the right timing. And when you get in front of those Frito-Lays, those big companies, a 6-figure contract is nothing. They don't care. They're like, yes, you still have your boilerplate contract. Yes, you have a lot of stuff you still have to do. But they have millions and millions and millions to spend. And if someone just skims a little bit off the top of their full budget, but can deliver more than what they're promising, they're going to go with you all day long. It's like if it's in the 6 figures, they probably don't even have to get approval for anything. They can mail you a check. We've had people get in bidding wars. So one of the brands that people always love to go for is Discount Tire. Discount Tire is known for not doing sponsorships. They do NASCAR and they do everything here and there. But we had one company get into a bidding war they were sponsored or partnered with Discount Tire. And then they got into a bidding war with another tire company to be their tire supplier and their tire, like they're help be the face of that brand. So that was another one where it's like they not only got into the door with Discount, which is something that doesn't happen, but they also are, hey, you are notoriously hard. You're working with us, but and it sounds shady. It sounds wrong, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and it's like you're unfortunately like you're not our criteria change, our expectations change, or our what we need changed, and these people are offering something better. So those are a couple of just kind of the. I hope I didn't make them too simplified.
No,
keep people.
Look, here's part of the thing, right? Like, people know that I work with IPG, people know that I work with Deechworks, like, but we don't talk about what it is, right? We don't talk about values. Those things are all in-house. They're on paper, their agreements, and you don't talk about those. So,
yep. Yeah. So it is hard to keep the anonymity, but it's also people need to know kind of what they can expect, what they can see, because the dream that people have of being a full-time racer that's sponsored by whatever company it truly is attainable.
Yeah.
It's just, it takes a long time, a lot of work. You don't become a nuclear physicist by saying, I want to do this, and buying all the equipment and saying, I'm going to do it. It's like, you got to actually put in the work to do it.
Yeah. The non-household name pros that are out there, they're working on this kind of stuff every day also. They're not sitting in their sim rig all day. They're not at the gym all day. They're not beachside all day. They're hustling. This will be a hustle. You will have to put in time.
Okay, and that is one thing before we sign off that I do want to touch on that we didn't get to.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So maybe we have to do a part 2. This is a rabbit hole that we could talk about for hours, but you don't have to be a winner to be sponsored or partnered. Every brand that we work with or have worked with has not once put, they're doing this because we will win X amount, or we have shown that we're winning X amount. None of them cared. And that's where positioning yourself and marketing yourself and making yourself marketable and being able to work with the brand really comes into play, because being with a brand that wants you to win is like dating someone is because you're the hottest person at the school. It's like if you're in high school and you're dating someone that says you're the cutest here. That's all well and good. One, is that a relationship you want to be in? And maybe it is. But then 2, what happens if someone comes that's hotter, or in the case of racing, that's better?
Right.
Because unless you're Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, a handful of these people, there's probably someone better. So you don't want those types of relationships, but we have never had one that has ever said you win, and that's why we're working with you.
That's a fact, because I have partners and I don't win. So,
yep.
Not yet. The car is fast right now, and I need to.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's amazing. So,
well, we need to get you out here too, so we can race with you.
Yeah. So, this probably needs to be talked about afterwards, but I failed at a lot of goals this year because the car didn't operate. So, hopefully in the next couple of years, I can get things going and we can head out west a little bit. So
nice.
Well, Jett, anything else on your list that we should talk about?
Not with adding another 30 minutes to the podcast.
Oh, well, we don't need to do that.
But no, I think it's been great to just kind of get some of the stuff that people might not know out in the open. I'm more than happy to share all of our experiences, what we see, what we do, kind of our thought process. And like you said at the beginning, everybody has a different way of thinking about it. I'm not saying our way is the best way. I'm saying our way is the way that's always worked for us. And it's ever evolving.
So where can people find you and the ebook?
So the ebook is a kind of a pain in the butt, so we'll do a link in the show notes if that's okay. Sure. But then our website is led-footracing.com. Our logo is a cool little blue and purple mountain range that says LFR on it. And then we're on social medias. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and it's all kind of some form of lead foot racing. Instagram is lead_foot_racing. TikTok is the same. YouTube is just lead foot racing. And they all have the same logo, so that way you can kind of easily find it. And then links to those are also on our website, like clickable links.
Awesome, Jett. I really appreciate you coming back on, man.
Perfect. Thank you again for having me, and we'll definitely have to maybe not wait as long to catch back up.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right, take care.
Perfect. Thank you. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Until next time, keep working on yourself, keep working on the car, and let's get faster.